On the heels of a historic Royal Rumble that saw Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan cash their tickets to WrestleMania 42 by way of their victories, Monday Night Raw hit the Netflix airwaves from Philadelphia with all the fallout from the year's first premium live event. What went down when the Tribal Chief addressed the WWE Universe? And what did Liv Morgan have to say about the biggest win of her career? Find out with this recap of last night's show, complete with our ratings and analysis from each of the night's major segments and matches. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and Streaming.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence of the phenom Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him back with us Friday night for our huge Super Bowl 60 preview show, preceded by our recap of NFL honors. So we'll get into that on Friday. But for right now, let's address last night, Monday Night Raw, the fallout from the Royal Rumble in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Of course, this Raw was live from the Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on Netflix, as always. And we started it off, of course. Well, I was honestly expecting the obligatory Royal Rumble recap video to be the first thing we saw, but oh no, that did not happen. We eventually did get it, yes, but not right at the jump. 2 days after being attacked and eliminated in the Royal Rumble match, an irate Bron Breakker stalked the ringside area and threatened anyone in his path, leading to the Vision attempting to calm him down and demands issue to Raw General Manager Adam Pearce. Paul Heyman also blamed Adam Pearce, which caused Bron Breakker to call out the General Manager again. Pearce appeared, told Breakker he would allow him to keep his job despite a piss-poor performance in the Royal Rumble. And LA Knight sneak attacking Logan Paul in Austin Theory with a steel chair. A dismayed Breakker asked Heyman, "What are we doing?" in disbelief as the segment closed. It was a quick, painless segment that wrapped up inside of 5 minutes and painted the picture of an increasingly frustrated Bron Breakker, an antagonistic Adam Pearce, and an LA Knight who is far from finishing exacting revenge from the Vision. This could have been better served in the middle of the show with one of the two Royal Rumble winners kicking off the show, since those are the competitors the wrestling world is buzzing about in the wake of Saturday's show. So we're not going to, really dive into that. So we're just going to dive into the first match of the night, as it was Javon Evans squaring off against El Grande Americano. Javon Evans winning the match in 12 minutes and 35 seconds. 3 1/4, teetering on 3.5. I'll be honest, the match itself did not necessarily live up to expectations, with Evans and Americano never really finding their in-ring chemistry. The commercial mid-match did not help, but for all of the energy the babyface performs with, it lacked a truly electric comeback to elevate it. The appearance from Chad Gable's original El Grande Americano did not help, as the eager response for that character took away from Evans' win. With that said, a potential mask versus mask match between the El Grande Americanos should be fun. I'm actually going to bump this down. I'm going to give this more like 2.5 to 3, if I'm going to be honest with you. So 2.5 to 3, I think that's the correct rating for this. So not much more to add. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in here. Javon Evans defeating El Grande Americano in 12:35 after the original El Grande Americano with a distraction.
Yeah, and I'm going to give it 3 stars. I thought they did a fine job with it. I think it could have been better in certain areas. I'm not too mad about it, But I do believe that they did a fine job, and there's really nothing more to say here. So yeah, give me the 3 stars, and let's move on, Anthony.
AJ Styles theme music played, and Gunther entered the arena, mocking the man he retired Saturday night in Riyadh, with fans raining down on him with a chorus of boos, drowning out his initial attempts at a promo. The Ring General basked in the disdain of the WWE Universe. When he finally did start speaking, Dragon Lee rushed the ring and took the fight to the former world champion. A well-timed cheap shot turned the tide in the heel's favor and allowed him to put Lee to sleep twice. The heat was off the charts for Gunther. Not even a rival like, say, Dak Prescott could have walked into Philly, insulted AJ Styles, and been booed as loudly and passionately as the Ring General. He is unequivocally the best heel in WWE today. Dragon Lee defending his former tag team partner's honor made sense and set him up to square off with the former world champion. A match or two with Gunther in which he can show off his value as a singles star in a high-profile situation is exactly what the masked man needs to make the leap to the next level. So, not much more to say there. And then Eric and Ivar, the War Raiders, they awaited their opponents for apparently a tag team match. Enter the former NXT champion Oba Femi. And then the ruler obliterated the former world tag team champions, leaving them laying and standing tall. A message sent loud and clear. Having Oba Femi run through 2 big guys like Eric and Ivar was more impressive than having him tear smaller opposition down. He looked like a dominant force, a destructive badass fans can invest in and root for as he steamrolls the competition. The future is bright for the big man. So,
and one thing I need to say,
Matt, if you want to give a quick thought on this, feel free.
I gotta say it. My crew on Discord kind of felt like we raked Oba through the coals here when we were recapping the Royal Rumble, and it kind of felt like we didn't really give Oba his credit, his due on Saturday night when we were recapping the Royal Rumble, and I got called out for it. I personally got called out by one of them. So I want to wax poetic right now, and that is that if you're a fan of Oba Femi, and there's a lot of people who are, from the Royal Rumble and even last night on Monday Night Raw, you gotta love what you see from this guy. Like, he is without a doubt the future of WWE. I think Anthony, we can agree with that. This Absolutely. Guy, Oba Femi, is got the jetpack on his back and is gonna be literally set up for superstardom. I'll even go as far to say I don't think he's going to be a champion this year, but next year, I think we could see Oba Femi. I'll even go as far to say it. I think Oba Femi could main event WrestleMania next year in Saudi Arabia. I'll go as far to say it. I think he could main event WrestleMania next year in Saudi Arabia. I mean, that's as big of a start as you're going to get. I think he's got the look. I think he's got the makeup. I think he's got the attitude. And as long as WWE Creative continues the way that they're doing, and mind you, one other thing, Anthony, this was very similar to when Brock Lesnar came to WWE. When he was the next big thing. What was the first thing that he did when he got into the company? He was steamrolling the tag team division. He actually was abusing the tag teams before he went on to solo. And with Oba going after the War Raiders, who is quite frankly, the biggest thing in the world right now. Two of the biggest boys in WWE. I think to do Oba, to do that, and did you see how he put the fall of grace on Eric? Oh my God. I mean, that move is absolutely, like, I'm telling you, the minute the music hit, my Discord friends blew up. They were like, oh no, we're about to get a murder in Philly. The Philadelphia is about to see a first-class murder. And that's exactly what Oba did. He left them in a heap. Where have anybody in their right mind has ever seen Eric and Ivar get destroyed like that? Very, very, very rare do you see Eric and Ivar get destroyed like Obafemi did to them. I think maybe the Wyatts did it to them once. And I want to say maybe Judgment Day. But that's the only two teams that I know that has destroyed that literally destroyed Eric and Ivar like that. Like in that kind of capacity. Obafemi is one guy. And he destroyed them both. I mean, now the rumor is that Oba is a free agent. Raw and SmackDown are desperately trying to get this guy. Obviously, you know where I want him. I want him on the Blue brand. I want him on SmackDown Live.
I want him on Raw.
To have Obafemi on SmackDown wearing the Team Blue colors. Anthony Florio wants him on Monday Night Raw. Absolutely. He wants him with the red brand. He sees what he sees with the red brand. He probably was like, oh my God, what kind of wreckage could he do on Netflix on Monday night? It's going to be a thing of beauty. I'm feeling the same way. I want him on SmackDown. Obafemi is that guy right now that everybody wants. And it doesn't matter. Whoever gets Oba is going to get a bona fide superstar on their hands. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just, where does he go? And we might have to wait till maybe after WrestleMania before this gets settled. I don't think it's going to be settled now. I think we're going to have to wait till after Mania, and then we'll find out where Oba goes. Because right now, I could see them toying with the idea, showing up on SmackDown, showing up on Raw, showing up on a pay-per-view, just to let the world know what the Rula is all about. And trust me, the Oba chance, you thought maybe the Oba chance was maybe a one-trick pony. Oh, no. They were chanting it in Saudi Arabia, and it was loud when he came out. It was loud in the Philadelphia last night on Monday Night Raw. Wherever he goes, you're going to hear either who or Oba, Oba, Oba. I'm telling you guys, I have not seen a superstar with this kind of level. And also, one other guy who's also, I think, is going to make it big in WWE is Trick Williams. He had a pretty good Royal Rumble, and I know we're going to talk a lot about him this Friday night on SmackDown because, obviously, Cerebral Smack Talk is, I believe, this Friday. The NFL show is Saturday, the night before the Super Bowl. So we're going to do that. So we're going to flip it a little bit, folks. So don't freak out. Friday night is I'm calling audible, okay? So audible. Friday night, 11 p.m. after SmackDown goes off the air, we're going to do Cerebral Smack Talk just to give the fans the little appetite to kind of water your taste buds. Saturday night, 10:30. Super Bowl 60 preview.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
just to give us a little, to give that little extra oomph to the Super Bowl the night before the game. Normally we wait a couple of days before. No. The night before the game. The game within a game, as we like to say. So get ready for that. But yeah, Oba is a star. He was awesome. The destruction was amazing. And it's just the little things. It didn't have to be anything big. It was just a little. It's a little appetizer, as we like to say. The main course is going to come soon enough. And I think I know what the main course is going to be. I think we're getting Oba versus Brock at WrestleMania. Because think about it. Who was the man that eliminated Oba Femi at the Royal Rumble?
Brock Lesnar.
It was the alpha male of our species. And let me tell you, some people were really mad. Some were like, you know what? But here's the thing. But others were not mad. I thought my Discord friends were gonna crash the fuck. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're excited. I don't blame you.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you're excited, man. I don't blame you.
Yeah, they crashed the F out. But a couple of my friends were like, you know what, Mike? I'm not mad. I think Oba dominated. He looked amazing. The fans were behind him. They were like, you know what? It was fine. It wasn't, they weren't crashing out because it was Brock. They weren't crashing out that it was a quick in and out. No. They were like, Oba did what he had to do. I think the only thing they were disappointed with Oba was that he didn't get more eliminations. Because I think they were looking for him to get the Diesel spot in 1994. Or when Kane had that, just started ransacking the Royal Rumble, and I believe it was 2000. Or, like you said, when
2001.
Brock Lesnar, 2001 in New Orleans, I'm sorry. Or when Brock Lesnar had that massive run where I think he had like 13 in a row before Drew got him in that Rumble. So
yep.
I think that's what they were looking for. I think they were looking for because Oba got 5 eliminations, but I think they were looking for at least double digits for Oba Femi. I think that's what they were looking for.
That's
double digits for Oba. Yeah. So it's a work in progress. They're already making him a star. Like, this guy got the jetpack on the back, and I'm telling you, the sky's the limit for Oba Femi. We saw it last night on Monday Night Raw. I hope I see this guy on SmackDown on Friday night because I would go nuts. I would be doing the ooping laugh too, Floyo. I know you heard that.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing more to say. It's gonna be. This was awesome. So yeah, destruction, damage, carnage. That's what a big guy is supposed to do. That was beautiful. Let's move on. Next segment or next match, whatever. Go ahead, it's yours.
And Michael Bullock and I, during our Raw chat last night, oh yeah, we ate that up. Oh, you better believe.
I would not have been surprised. Like I said, I was with my Discord friends and we were eating it up. We were going wild when Oba showed up.
Man, that's gonna be something else when he eventually finds his home. We go from something really awesome to, well, something not so awesome here. The Bellas are back together. One of the legitimate surprises in Saturday's Royal Rumble, Brie Bella, joining her sister Nikki for a Bella Twins reunion. The Hall of Famers staked their claim to the Women's Tag Team Championships, saying they are back and ready to target the gold as the original tag team in the women's division. The definition of a whole TV segment that could have been an email. There was nothing to this. The promo was bad. There was next to no energy from either of them. And the result was a segment that fell extremely flat, despite the fans' excitement, or some fans' excitement, to see the Hall of Fame twins back together. Rumor going around that WrestleMania rumor going around is that we're going to possibly see the Bellas going after Rhea Ripley and Io Sky for the women's tag team championships. So we're going to keep an eye on that for sure. But
one quick thought on this, and this was actually a chat that I had last night, not with the Discord group, but with two people from my family. Obviously, normally when I'm on the air, there's a big decree that I don't bring up my family. I don't go into, I don't. They want to be, in the private. They want to be kept private, which I respect. Not everybody wants to have, whatever their lives and everything else. But I was talking to two members of my family last night. We were on a three-way chat. One thing that was addressed is that the reason why Brie is back in WWE, and this is one thought that one of my family members had, was because the Nikki Solo run was failing. That Nikki wasn't delivering in a way. And I totally agree with them. I think Nikki Solo run was not that great. And I think a lot of people was even said that maybe it even hurt because of her rivalry with Stephanie Vauquer going into that title reign. Her battling for the title may have hurt not only her, but it also hurted in a grand scheme of things. So you bring Brie back, and you saw, even in the Royal Rumble, Anthony, look at the possibilities we now have. You have Lyra Valkyria and Bayley because they went at it at the Royal Rumble. Then, yes, we did get Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. And I think that that's going to be the path forward. I honestly believe going into WrestleMania that I think we're going to have a multi-woman tag team fight. I think what we're going to have is I think it's going to be Lash Legend and Nia Jax. The reason why, I think the reason why Nia Jax and Lash Legend, I think it's going to be Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. I think it's going to be the Bella Twins, and I'm also going to believe it's also going to be Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. No, I left two teams out. I left Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, and I left the Kabuki Warriors out. Why? Because I think breakups are about to happen. And I do believe Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are about to go into a fight at WrestleMania, and I think Kairi Sane and Asuka are about to go into a one-on-one fight at WrestleMania. So I got those two women matches set up for Mania, while the remaining four that I talked about, I think they're going to be in a multi-woman fatal four-way, maybe ladder match for the titles. I think that might be a little extreme, but this is WrestleMania. They're going to want to they're going to want to put as many people on this show that is humanly possible. So, WrestleMania is such a coveted spot, and they're going to want to put as many deserving talent onto this WrestleMania stage. And I do believe that might be the path we might be going. So, Florio, it's yours.
Okay. We'll see. We'll definitely see what happens with that. That definitely is an interesting scenario there. So with that being said, we'll move on to our next matchup. It was Penta squaring off against Big Bronson Reed. Penta wins the match via a countout in 12 minutes and 54 seconds. MF, a countout win. When was the last time we had a countout win?
Yeah, not very often, but if you also remember, look at how the match ended. Penta, basically the ref took a ref bump because the Vision tried to get involved, and the ref took a bump. And that's when LA Knight showed up, put the BFT on Bronson Reed, and oh, by the way, there was a chair there, bonk, right in the head. Bronson got knocked a little loopy, and the next thing you know, he was unable to get back into the ring before the count of 10. Paul Heyman was not happy at all. He was screaming for a disqualification because LA Knight blatantly took out Bronson Reed. I'm telling you, on commentary, I absolutely had a conniption over this whole situation. Anthony Floyo, I'm sorry. I know your ears were ringing when I absolutely blew a gasket last night on Monday Night Raw, and I apologize in advance, but I had to play that character, and you knew I went in. Saying, what was the meaning of that? How on earth can you allow that as a victory for Penta? That should be a disqualification. So but yeah, it was a solid match. It was a 3 1/4 star bout. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
3 1/4 stars, but I got some more constructive criticism here. Outside of improving his win-loss record, this did nothing to help Penta. He was a tackling dummy for Bronson Reed throughout and only won because of LA Knight's interference in the closing moments. For a guy who Paul Heyman thought the world of on WWE Unreal, his creative is hit or miss on a seemingly weekly basis. LA Knight as the constant threat in the Vision side is fun, if nothing else. Whether it ever leads to anything of real substance for him remains to be seen. But as a quick-hitting babyface who pops the crowd, it works. So I'll give it 3 to 3 1/4 for that. Absolutely. A lot of promos on this show, but this was one of the big ones here. The return of the Intercontinental and AAA Mega Campeon Dominic Mysterio returned for the first time since suffering an injury in December and introduced the winner of the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble, Liv Morgan. Morgan admitted that she is not sure who she will challenge at WrestleMania 42. But, MF, you're going to love this. She said she is going to SmackDown on Friday night to scope out her options. So, you're getting Liv Morgan on Friday night, MF. There you go. There's a hook for Charlotte on Friday night. From there, she claimed WWE would be crowning a new women's world champion and introduced Raquel Rodriguez. And then Big Mommy Cool called out Liv Morgan for eliminating her in the Royal Rumble match and told her to stay in the back for her match, so there are no questions about who the real women's world champion is. And it leads us into one of a very rare 2-for-1 deal. It then leads in to the big match. This was the match that we were all waiting for the Women's World Championship in a Philadelphia street fight. The champion, Stephanie Vaquer, defending the title against Raquel Rodriguez in a Philly street fight. And the winner of the match and I'm not kidding you when I say this, 21 minutes and 55 seconds. The winner and still the women's world champion, La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer. Okay, a lot to dissect here. First off, Dominic Mysterio. Mysterio's welcome return gives the show an instant boost. A future main eventer, he was routinely one of the best elements of the show in 2025, and there is no reason to believe that will change. As for Liv Morgan, Morgan has such command of the mic and camera that even when there is no real substance to what she is given to do, she elevates it. This was no different. She came across as completely disingenuous and insincere when she dodged Raquel's question and applauded Raquel for being unselfish. Great stuff. As for the match, this was far and away the fight of the night here. I could give this an excess of 4 1/4 to 4.5 stars. the match itself was really good. There was a spot or two that did not go off according to plan, but it was still a strong physical match that put over the possibility that Rodriguez would win the title, shined a light on the dissension within the Judgment Day, and gave Stephanie Vaquer a defining victory. Where things between Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez go from here, and how Roxanne Perez factors into it, will go a long way in telling us what the plans for the former's WrestleMania title match look like. A great promo beforehand and an incredible match. Absolutely amazing. Early candidate for a TV match of the year for sure. Early candidate for women's match of the year already. So go out of your way to watch it. This was incredible. 4.25 to 4.5 stars for the match. So not much more to say. MF, what do you make of all this? 21.55 for the match. Wow, they gave him time.
They gave him time, but like you said, Anthony, not everything was perfect. This was a good matchup. The outcome, I think we kind of fell into a little bit of the trap here because after what Liv Morgan did and everything else, I think we kind of felt like maybe there was a chance that Raquel was going to win the title and maybe we get Raquel and Liv at WrestleMania. But no, La Primera, the Dark Angel herself, finds a way to win it, get the job done, and successfully defends the title. But you also notice after the match was over, Liv nailed Stephanie with Oblivion and then held the title. What does that mean? I mean, I get it. Obviously, she said she's going to go to SmackDown to scope the thing, but Anthony, I kind of feel like she might already may have tipped her hand about what title she may be going after. I think she may have tipped her hand already, and I think it might be going after Stephanie Vaquer and the Women's World Title at WrestleMania. We don't know. We'll see. But this was a solid 3.5-star bout. It wasn't perfect, but it was still pretty good nonetheless. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Before we get to our final segment of the night, let's set the table for next Monday night. Next Monday night, Raw will emanate from Cleveland, Ohio, the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, and here's what's on tap. Maxine Dupree will finally get her hands on Natty for the first time since Natty cost her the opportunity to regain the Women's Intercontinental Championship from Becky Lynch a few weeks ago. So Maxine Dupree one-on-one with Natty. For the World Tag Team Championship, the champions, the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, will defend against the Alpha Academy, Otis and Akira Tozawa. And we are going to have the first qualifying matches for the Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber pay-per-view at the end of this month on the 28th from the Madhouse on Madison, the United Center in Chicago. How about that? That's going to be something. All right. The final segment of the night. It was the winner of the 2026 Men's Royal Rumble match, the Tribal Chief, the OTC, Roman Reigns, and all right. Roman Reigns hit the ring to address his Royal Rumble win and got a bit nostalgic along the way. He recalled that he won his first WWE Championship in Philadelphia and lost his last one in the same place. When he won his first Rumble there in 2015, the fans did not sound nearly as complimentary to him as they did last night. From there, he turned his attention to WrestleMania and the champion he should challenge at the event, with CM Punk being the crowd's choice. And then CM Punk joins Roman in the ring, entering to a big pop as always. CM Punk immediately addressed Finn Balor's earlier words via a taped promo. Roman took exception, and Punk claimed the tribal chief was visiting. The two megastars took shots at each other with an increasingly personal edge. CM Punk reminded Roman that he once ruled over WWE as the WWE champion for 434 days with Paul Heyman by his side. He also said, just because you did it longer doesn't mean you did it better. Reigns fired up, claimed he let Punk back in WWE when Triple H came to him 2 years ago, and still holds on to the anger and frustration he felt when CM Punk made his life a living hell a decade earlier during a podcast appearance. His ego bruised. He chose Punk as his WrestleMania 42 opponent because he hates him, then stomped off to close out the segment and the show. Whoa. All right. So with all that being said, MF, here it is. It is official. We have our main event for WrestleMania 42. CM Punk, Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. And a segment that has garnered universal praise on social media. And we're about to join in on that. So, MF, segment of the year, number one. And number two, that happened.
And it was absolutely perfect. I loved every minute of it. It was Roman Reigns' personal best promo. I cannot believe I'm saying that because we all remember the years that we were burying Roman Reigns for his promo work, and this absolutely was perfect. And CM Punk being the best in the world in promos, pipe bombs, you can say it. He's always delivered. We never ever have to worry about Punk. Roman is the one where we kind of are like, I don't know. But let me tell you, Roman nailed it. This was an absolute devastating promo. And the funny thing is that in one found swoop, 3 men absolutely got destroyed on the internet because the 3 guys were Seth freaking Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Cody Rhodes. I don't know what happened here, but the promo itself just in an adverse effect buried 3 men in WWE in one found swoop. And it was crazy because now, you know, the dig at Seth, I'm like, I don't even understand why Seth got thrown into there, but the internet was exploding on Seth freaking Rollins. Drew McIntyre, you better have a response on Friday night on SmackDown because right now, I'm sorry, you just got raked through the coals by CM Punk and by Roman Reigns. CM Punk calling you an easier option? Oh, no. You gotta respond to CM Punk's comments. You have to. And then Cody Rhodes. Okay. Cody, you call yourself the quarterback one. You call yourself the face of WWE. I'm sorry, because after that promo, what I just saw right now, you are right now in my mind, you're nothing but a third string quarterback. You are the emergency quarterback. Because right now, quarterback 1 and quarterback 2 is CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And come at me, Cody fans, if I'm bluffing. I'm dead serious with that comment. This was a masterpiece of promo work by Roman Reigns and CM Punk. We knew CM Punk was going to deliver. We knew CM Punk is great on the mic. We knew that. There's no argument. But Roman Reigns, my God, bro, that that's your personal best, Roman. Like, absolutely, positively your personal best. And the thing was, I actually felt everything you said. I felt your dilemma. I felt the way you said how you shook the hand of CM Punk, and then how Punk tried to brainwash you, brainwash your cousins, and you know that I think it was a gyro crap you said. It was absolutely perfect. Every shot that Roman threw at Punk was absolutely with vitriol, with sting, with a bite. And that's something that normally CM Punk does on a regular. And I think even Punk deep down was thinking, finally, somebody can match my level. Somebody can actually make me think, make me want to do something. And he responded in spades. And I love the fact at the end, he was like, you know, I choose you because I hate you. And I want the satisfaction of beating you in the main event of WrestleMania. That's the hook. That is exactly what we wanted. We don't need any fluff. We didn't need any debate. Roman could have done the same thing like Liv Morgan. You know what? I'm going to go to SmackDown and I'm going to scout. No, he said it right then and there. We now have 73 days to set this baby up. We don't need nothing more. If this is just the first glimpse of what we're going to get for WrestleMania, log on to ESPN right now. Put the $29.99 right now, unless you got Netflix outside of the United States. But if this is on traditional pay-per-view, shut up and take my money. That's all I'm going to say about it, because that's exactly what it deserves to be. This was amazing. It was a masterclass, Anthony Florio, and we ate it up hook, line, and sinker. Segment of the night. You even said segment of the year. I'll give you it. Yeah, segment of the year. This was 5 stars and then some. It's yours.
Yeah, Bullock and I definitely ate this up. You're absolutely right on that. Let me tell you, Roman Reigns, he's come a long way since the days of Suffer and Succotash and Tater Tots. Am I right about that? So, but in all seriousness, as MF said, this was Roman Reigns' best promo since the My Camera, My Show contract signing, leading into his match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 38. He fired up, probably got some stuff off of his chest, and put an emphatic exclamation point on the entire thing. More than the title, the main event of the biggest show of the year, or which brand he is representing, this is about sheer, unadulterated hatred. CM Punk was equally as great here. He is such a big-time promo who knows exactly how to sell a match that we almost take for granted his greatness. He was antagonistic when he needed to be, and it worked as he poked and prodded verbally enough to get Roman to erupt. And MF, I'm also gonna follow up on another point you made. If I'm Drew McIntyre after this one, I'm pissed. If I'm Cody Rhodes and likely to work with McIntyre at WrestleMania, I'm also pissed. There were ways to get to what we got without tearing the undisputed WWE champion down in the process. But incredible 5-star segment of the year. Nothing more to say on that. All right, now, as far as overall thoughts, I'm going to give this in excess of 7, teetering on 7.5. What was a very underwhelming show through the first 90 or so minutes became exponentially better with the arrival of the women's title match and the main event promo segment. CM Punk and Roman Reigns immediately created interest and intrigue for the biggest match of the year, the real main event of WrestleMania 42, with their back and forth promo, while Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez tore it up in the advertised main event of the night. There were other things to like about the broadcast, but it felt like a half-hearted follow-up to a Royal Rumble premium live event that lacked the energy and excitement around it that fans have come to know and expect from the first extravaganza of the year. Still, that closing segment alone was enough for a thumbs-up show. 7 to 7.5, that's my rating. MF, your overall thoughts, and then we'll get into NXT.
Agreed. 7 to 7.5. It was actually a pretty good show. A lot of the guys that I've been talking to, not just Discord, family, even my 2184 crew guys, they were all saying the same thing. This was universally a very good Monday Night Raw. There was a lot of excitement coming out of it. Even though the announcement of the WrestleMania main event was predictable, at least on the men's side, it looks like it's going to be predictable on the women's side. I believe it will be Stephanie Vauquer versus Liv Morgan for the women's world title. I think that's where we're going with that. But you can tell certain matches are starting to take shape heading into WrestleMania. We're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out overall. But I think they did a fine job. 7 to 7.5. Big night on NXT. We're going to crown a new champion. But there was also another major announcement that was made. We got blindsided by this during the weekend, Anthony. We got ourselves a new GM. It's yours.
Yes. After a few weeks of qualifying matches, tonight finally saw a new NXT champion crowned after 7 men competed in a ladder match for the vacant title. We saw 2 other championship matches for the women's division. Sol Ruca and Zarya challenged the Elegance brand, Heather and M by Elegance, for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And Izzy Dane defended her Women's North American Championship against Thea Hale and Lola Vice in a triple threat match. And finally, after several weeks of random attacks, Tony D'Angelo finally offered an explanation for his actions. With Ava no longer with the company, WWE is going to have to find a new authority figure for the developmental brand. Let's take a look at everything that happened on tonight's show. The show opens with the man in charge of NXT, the one and only Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, informing and telling Robert Stone. That's right, you heard it. No big surprise here. Robert Stone has been appointed as the new interim. Note what I said there. Note the key word there. Interim general manager of NXT following Ava's abrupt and sudden exit from WWE last week. And then when we went live into the arena, we started it off with the triple threat match for the Women's North American Championship. The champion, Izzy Dame, defending the title against Thea Hale and Lola Vice. And the winner of the match in 11 minutes and 41 seconds, and still the NXT Women's North American Champion, it is Izzy Dame. Izzy had the size and power advantage, so she took control of both competitors until they worked together to take her down. All 3 women looked eager to make sure they were not overshadowed by the ladder match later in the show. This followed a relatively standard formula that allowed all 3 women a chance to be in control and work with each opponent individually and together. Dame may have been the champion, but Vice and Hale may have had the best sequences. Each of these wrestlers has their strengths and weaknesses, but they were able to work together well enough to make this feel competitive. WWE shows almost always open with a talking segment these days, so it was a nice change of pace to get into the action earlier than usual. But the difference maker was Kalani Jordan. Kalani Jordan shows up, attacked Lola Vice, and smashed her hand with a ladder she found under the ring, and it allowed Izzy Dame to hit the powerbomb on Thea Hale to get the win and retain the title. Ava was not mentioned by Shawn Michaels or Robert Stone, which is kind of sad because she spent a long time in that role. and did a commendable job with it. The counter Lola used to get Hale into an armbar was smooth, and Dane went for her pump kick a little too early and really had to struggle to reach Lola with her foot. But other than that, I'm going to give this in excess of 3 to 3.25 stars. And Kalani Jordan, the difference maker. So not much more there. So MF, Izzy Dame, still the women's North American champion. She wins it in 11:41. She gets the powerbomb on Thea Hale. And Lola Vice gets her hand smashed under a ladder by Kalani Jordan.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Lola for that to happen. But, it is what it is. And, it was expected. So there was really not much for us to say on that one. It was a big win. So I really enjoyed it. I think they did a really good job. And, yeah, I think it was a very, very good moment. And, hey, let's move on. And, 3 stars, Anthony, and let's move on.
All righty. Let's see what we got up next on the card here. Just bear with me for a moment. All right. Oh, Tony D'Angelo. Let's set this up. After the break, Tony D'Angelo made his way to the ring with some dramatic new entrance music and lighting. It felt like a big change from his former mafioso gimmick. Tony said he had some things to get off his chest and asked for the house lights to be turned up so he could see everyone. He listed his accomplishments and said he used to be a happy man with family and friends. He said he needed to find out who he is by himself, and now he is back to punish Dark State. MF, a quick thought on Tony D's promo here?
I love the promo because I really thought it was very defining, and it was really good. It was strong. This was exactly what it needed it to be. I really enjoyed everything that he said, but if you notice, he said he's going after Dark State, meaning he's probably going to be a baby face going into this storyline. So that's going to be very interesting to see. But I also think that Tony needs a direction, and maybe this is the right way to go. So nothing more to say, Anthony. Solid promo. It checked off the boxes that it needed to check in my mind. So it's yours.
Yeah, it was a strong promo to establish his new character while still acknowledging his past, and having no interruptions also helped, I think. So we're just going to leave it at that. We have a hold on to your hats. We got ourselves another speed tournament. Oh, goody. Another speed tournament to determine the newest challenger. And whoever wins this tournament will challenge Jasper Troy for the men's speed championship in 3 weeks when NXT goes back on the road, February the 24th at the Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia. The first match featured Elio LaFleur squaring off against Charlie Dempsey. Elio LaFleur wins the match in 2 minutes and 52 seconds. 3 minutes never seems like enough time for anyone to put on a great match. But I thought these two did as well as anyone can under those restrictions. Everything they did looked good. I would actually give this in excess of maybe 2 to 2.5, if I'm going to be honest with you. And so that's all I can say. So it'll be Elio LaFleur moving on. Next week, it's going to be in the other tournament match. It's going to be Josh Briggs squaring off against Eli Knight. And the winner of that match will then go on to face Elio LaFleur. And then the winner from there goes to Atlanta at the Center Stage in 3 weeks to challenge Jasper Troy for that men's speed title. So we're just going to bypass that. And okay, the second of our 3 huge title matches, TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships on the line. Champions, the Elegance brand, Heather and M by Elegance, accompanied by the personal concierge, George Iceman, and making her return to NXT for the first time since she was Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance. Yep, back in NXT. They defended against Sol Ruca and Zarya. And the winners of the match in 11 minutes and 33 seconds. And still, the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions. It is the Elegance brand. MF Zaruka. I'm telling you, man, we are on the verge of getting to that point where the ice is about to break.
It's only a matter of time now. It's only a matter of time before it goes. And, Zarya was really pissed off at Sol Ruca for getting that Royal Rumble spot. And Sol was like, look, it was a last-minute decision. They called me. I'm sorry. And Zarya's like, I should be getting these opportunities. And I think it's going to be a matter of time before either an implosion happens or we're inches away from it, Anthony. We're like right there. So yeah, anything can happen. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But this was at least a 3-star bout, a 3 to 3.25 star bout. Fine fight. But yeah, it's yours.
Yeah. The challengers began having communication issues that allowed the champions to gain the upper hand and keep it through the commercial break. Zarya had the chance to tag Sol a few times, but refused. The tension has been building between Sol Ruca and Zarya for months, but this is the first time it felt like a breakup was a certainty. Zarya had clearly checked out of the partnership, and they did a great job portraying that in this bout. The fight itself was a pretty standard tag match, but the storytelling definitely took priority over everything else. In a weird way, it almost felt like the defending champions were secondary to the story with Zaruka falling apart. Zarya and Ruca ended up shoving each other a few times before they hit simultaneous spears to their opponents. And then, where the ice was ready to break, Sol Ruca accidentally hitting Zarya with the Soul Snatcher, which allowed Heather and M to finish her off and retain the titles. So, that's all there is to really say there. So this is about 3 to 3.25 stars. So not much more to say there. We move on. Uriah Connors and Kale Dixon, Andre Chase in their corner. They squared off against Lexis King and the TNA International Champion Channing Stacks Lorenzo alongside of his fiancée Ariana Grace. Lexis King and Channing Stacks Lorenzo win the match 3 minutes and 41 seconds. Not going to waste any time on it. It was short and predictable. Had decent energy. Everyone was working hard, but they didn't have enough time to do anything of substance whatsoever. So that's all I can honestly say there. And then what's NXT without a revolving door segment, right? Well, we had a Fatal Influence. They were in the ring after a break so the women's champion Jacy Jayne could give a promo complaining about Sol Ruca getting more attention than her in the Royal Rumble. Zarya came out to say she wanted a title shot, but Jacy said there is a reason why Sol gets more opportunities. Then you enter the Ren QCC. Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair, they came out to join the party. Zarya got into an argument with them before Sol Ruca shows up and said everyone wants a title shot. But at least Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair are still friends. And then we enter for his first act as interim general manager, Robert Stone. He books a tag team match. It will be Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair. They're going to go up against Zaruka. And whoever scores the winning fall will then go on to Atlanta in 3 weeks. And that woman will be the next challenger for Jacy Jayne and the NXT Women's Championship. There was a lot of drama in this segment, but it didn't really lead anywhere because Robert Stone came out and ended the segment with his announcement. I'll give him credit. That's not a bad announcement. I'll give him credit for that one. That's a very unique stipulation there. So not much more. MF, quick thought.
I think they did a fine job with it. I think it could have been, it's going to be a very interesting telling situation more than anything else. But I think they did a fine job with it. So yeah, I mean, it was a good announcement by Mr. Robert Stone. Really, nothing more to add. Anthony, it's yours.
Yep, and next week on NXT, we're gonna have Jada Parker squaring off against Blake Monroe. That ought to be good. We're also, and of course, that tag team matchup, Zarya and Soruka against the Ren QCC. Whoever scores the winning fall gets the title shot against JC Jane in 3 weeks in Atlanta. And Josh Briggs against Eli Knight in the excuse me, in that other speed tournament matchup. And I think I pretty much ran down everything. So we move on to the main event of the evening. This match has been highly anticipated ever since Obafemi relinquished the NXT Championship. 7-man ladder match for the vacant NXT Championship. Ricky Saints versus Sean Legacy versus Evolve champion Jackson Drake versus Dion Lennox of Dark State versus LFG Season 2 winner on the men's side, Shiloh Hill versus Joe Hendry and versus Keanu Carver. The winner of the ladder match in 22 minutes and 40 seconds and the new NXT champion. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Yes, sir, he did it. Joe Hendry, the new NXT champion. MF, Joe Hendry wins the title. 22 minutes and 40 seconds. Wow.
Yeah, it was a heck of a main event. It was the fight of the night. This was exactly what it needed it to be. And if you're Ricky Saints, you're right there. You had it in your hands. And Joe Hendry knocks you off the ladder into another ladder. And all you could just see is you're looking up. And Joe Hendry got his hands on the belt, pulled it off that apparatus, and he's hoisting it and waving it for the whole world to see. The new NXT champion, history made, unprecedented crowning. This is why this is the moment the Joe Hendry fans were waiting for. The minute he signed with NXT, the minute he left TNA to come to NXT, this was why he wanted it to come, to be the champion, and they pulled the trigger on it. It could not have happened to a better guy, a very deserving NXT champion in Joe Hendry. Yeah, now the sky's the limit as we're now on the road to Stand and Deliver, which is their WrestleMania on WrestleMania weekend. And yeah, Anthony, I mean, this was at least a 4.25 star bout. History made. Joe Hendry wins the NXT title. It is yours.
No surprise here. If we had put predictions down for this, I'll be honest, I would have gone with Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry would have been my pick, and either him or Ricky. I think it was either him or Ricky Saints. But I'm not at all surprised by this outcome. I'm definitely pleased with it. I am a big Joe Hendry fan, as you all know. Especially Michael Bullock. I mean, man, I would have loved to have gotten Bullock's thoughts on this. I wish he was here, but you know, it is what it is. But 4.25 to 4.5, absolutely. Early in the all right, I'll tell you what, all 7 men went from 0 to 60 as soon as the referee called for the bell. They wasted no time making this a hard-fought bout by using the ladders as weapons immediately. Early in the match, Joe Hendry and Ricky Starks emerged as the favorites. They brought the most experience to the ring, so they seemed like the safest picks out of the 7. Shiloh Hill and Keanu Carver are still trying to establish themselves, so it felt like their inclusion was less about them being realistic winners and more about putting them in high-profile situations to test them. A ladder match with this many people is going to be chaotic by design, so the big challenge is making sure everyone gets to shine before someone eventually wins. Thankfully, this bout allowed every competitor to have a couple of moments in the spotlight. Joe Hendry and Ricky Starks fought on top of the ladder over the title, but Joe Hendry was able to push him off the ladder claimed the belt and the victory. And what else is there to say? I mean, a couple of noticeable things here. The spot when Joe Hendry powerbombed Jackson Drake onto everyone else at ringside looked good. Keanu Carver ripping a ladder in half at the hinge was an awesome moment. Shiloh Hill's airplane spin with the ladder looked very contrived and not spontaneous at all. And Keanu Carver's rampage toward the end of the bout was fun. Absolutely incredible. It's the first time in over 10 years we've had a ladder match. The last time we had it, NXT the very first takeover they did in Brooklyn, the weekend of SummerSlam 2015 at the Barclays in Brooklyn. It was Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens, with Finn Balor successfully defending the title. So, but man, oh man, what an incredible ladder match here. They got the outcome right. Joe Hendry, the new NXT champion. Awesome moment. Awesome match. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. Absolutely correct on the rating. As for the overall thoughts, tonight's episode of NXT not only featured 3 title matches, but it did some work to set up more for the future. Nothing we got on tonight's show was bad, but the only thing that really stood out was the ladder match in the main event. Joe Hendry winning the NXT championship felt like the right call if he is not going to be called up to the main roster anytime soon. All 7 men worked hard to make the match fun, and Keanu Carver gave a memorable performance in his first big opportunity. While the show felt more or less the same, there was definitely an absence felt with Ava's departure. So, I would say I thought Raw was a little bit better than NXT was. I mean, we did have a couple of matches that we could have done without, but and of course the classic revolving door segment. So I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. I think that's the best I can go. So so not much more to say. 7 out of 10 for me. Take us home, MF. Take us home, MF. As we get ready to embark on a new era of NXT, the Joe Hendry era.
Yes, indeed. Solid 7 out of 10. You're absolutely right. I thought they did a really good job with the show. I don't think there's really much more. You pretty much summed up everything on that one. So, yeah, we're done. Anthony, hit us with the future content.
All right. As announced by MF earlier in the show, we're calling an audible here. So we're going to change it up here. So here's how it's going to go down this time around. Next time we see you will be on Friday night at 11 p.m. immediately following SmackDown. Head on over to MF's channel, Brace for N95, for another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk, as we will get into TNA Impact and Friday night SmackDown. And then Saturday night at 10:30, come on back here to the Tone 25 for a special edition of TXN Sports World NFL, as we're going to recap NFL honors. And then we are going to do our comprehensive preview, like we've done the last several years, our comprehensive preview of Super Bowl 60. The NFC champion Seattle Seahawks versus the AFC champion New England Patriots from Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. We're going to break it all down, all the X's and O's like we've been doing. You know how we've been doing that the last few years. Go back into my archives and check it all out, and you'll know what we're going to do. We're going to do it the exact same way we've always done it, and that's that. So that'll be on Saturday. And then 1 week from tonight, Ridiculously Raw, Monday Night Raw, and NXT per the norm. And I'm also going to give you a small little preview of the first TNA Plus special of 2026, TNA No Surrender, that goes down next Friday, February the 13th. I will have the card or close to the card, because I'm sure they could add more when we get to the Thursday Impact. So I will give you a small little rundown of the No Surrender card next week. So that's it. So until Friday night, the Cerebral Smack Talk over on the MF's channel for Ace Fan 95. This is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher. And in spirit, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. And of course, always and forever, our first lady of Talking Wrestling TXN, the one and only Twisted Angel Didi Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed rest of your week. And until Friday night, for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you have been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.